the most talked about stories online in this morning's Digital Dive. The numbers are staggering. Yesterday, we told you that roughly 200,000 Americans could die from COVID 19. However, White House officials just said yesterday that that's likely the best case scenario because there could be more deaths than that. Now, right now, U.S. has about 150,000 positive COVID 19 cases with nearly 3,000 deaths reported. President Trump is extending the federal guidelines of social distancing through the end of April, saying that the economy is going to come back, but his focus right now is on saving lives.
I have some friends that are unbelievably sick. We thought they were going in for a mild stay, and in one case, he's unconscious in a coma. And you say, how did that happen?
President Trump impacted personally by COVID 19. Now, part of the uphill battle right now is healthcare workers asking for much needed supplies across the country. President Trump is promising us that companies are making plenty of ventilators and protective gear, so much that it could even be shared with other countries. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case. And with more people getting laid off across the country, we've heard about furloughs at Macy's, big stores like Kohl's. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are now working on another economic relief package in hopes to help these people out.
Yeah, there's
Gia?
so many ways that people are impacted by this, but I got to give it to those healthcare workers, as everyone has. They're doing tremendous work, Alicia. Thank you.